My name is Ethan. I'm 32, and I used to think my life was perfectly stable. Good job, good apartment, good relationship. I worked in network security and liked quiet weekends. No chaos, no drama, just order. Then came Madison. She was 29, beautiful in that effortless way. Always confident, always composed. We met at a friend's party 2 years ago. She walked in wearing jeans and a plain white shirt. And somehow she stole the whole room. She talked about travel, work, and ambition. I liked how sharp she was. No small talk, no pretending to be something else. When we started dating, everything felt easy. We laughed a lot, hiked on weekends, cooked together. She said she loved how grounded I was. I loved how fearless she seemed. For a while, I really thought I'd found the one. We moved in together 8 months ago. My condo downtown suddenly felt warmer. She brought color, life, a sense of movement. But then came the small things. She'd forget her wallet at dinner. I'd pay, no big deal. Then she'd mention her coworker's boyfriend buying her a ring. Or a new car. She'd say it casually, but her eyes watched for my reaction. I brushed it off. Everyone compares sometimes. But the pattern stayed. Little tests, little pushes. Maybe we should upgrade the condo. Maybe you need a better car. Her BMW was already perfect, yet she wanted more. She said it like a joke, but it was. I could feel it. I told myself not to overthink. Relationships are compromise, right? But I started noticing how often money came up. Not just spending, but my spending. She'd ask about my savings, my retirement plan, my investments. I thought maybe she was thinking long-term. That's what couples do. Except it didn't feel like partnership. It felt like assessment. As if she was running numbers in her head. Comparing potential outcomes. Still, I ignored the unease. She was successful too, in pharmaceutical sales. She traveled often for conferences. I figured she just wanted to plan for the future. Love can make you rationalize anything. Then came the shifts in her tone. Less affection, more control. Sometimes she'd say things like, "You're so lucky to have me." Half teasing, half warning. Other times she'd ask, "Do you ever think about marriage?" I said yes, when the time was right. But that never satisfied her. She wanted something faster, more binding. Something that looked like security. And I realized she wasn't chasing love. She was chasing certainty. The kind you can measure in square footage and dollar signs. By then, I'd already started losing the version of her I fell for. The laughter faded. The little touches disappeared. She became a strategist, and I became an investment. I didn't know it yet, but the game had already begun. And I was playing without even realizing it. 5 years before all this, I made a choice. It wasn't impulsive. It was logical, almost mathematical. I watched my older brother Michael lose everything. His ex-wife trapped him with a pregnancy he never wanted. He did the right thing, married her, and lived in misery. 3 years later, she divorced him and took half of everything. I saw him sitting in my living room, silent and broken. He'd stare at the wall like a man who'd lost his purpose. "Never give anyone that kind of power," he told me. "Protect yourself before it's too late." Those words stuck with me like a scar. At 27, I decided to take control. I booked an appointment for a vasectomy. No hesitation, no second guessing. It was the most practical thing I ever did. The doctor was old, experienced, confident. "You're smart to plan ahead," he said. Most men wait until their lives are already on fire. 30 minutes later, it was done. A weekend of ice packs and movies, and I was free. Free from fear, free from manipulation. I didn't hate the idea of family. I just didn't want to gamble my future on someone else's decision. A year later, I did the follow-up test. 0 sperm count. Perfect result. I did it again 2 years later. Still zero. No doubt, no risk. For the first time in my adult life, I felt peace. Dating after that became easier, in a strange way. I was honest about it from the start. Not on the first date, but when things got serious. I'd say, just so you know, I had a vasectomy. Kids aren't part of my plan. Some women walked away. Others respected it. It filtered out the ones who wanted to change me. So when I met Madison, I told her too. We were 3 months in, sitting on my couch after dinner. The conversation turned serious. "What are we doing here?" she asked. "Are we building something real?" That was my cue. I turned off the TV and told her the truth. I had a vasectomy a few years ago. I don't want kids. If that's a deal breaker, I get it. She was quiet for a long time. Then she smiled, soft and understanding. "Honestly, I'm not sure I want kids either," she said. "My career matters too much right now." It felt like alignment. Like we were on the same page. She even joked about it later. "At least we don't have to worry about surprises." I believed her. Why wouldn't I? She was calm, confident, convincing. I had no reason to think she was lying. But she was. Not out of malice, maybe, but out of calculation. She thought she could change my mind. Or worse, work around it. When she realized she couldn't, she found another way. One that would nearly destroy everything. But back then, I had no idea. I thought I made the smartest decision of my life. And maybe I still had, because that choice would end up saving me. 6 months ago, things started to shift. It wasn't sudden, more like a slow, creeping change. Madison became curious about my finances. She asked small questions, casual at first. "How much is your condo worth now? Do you have a 401k? Have you ever thought about buying property?" I thought she was just planning for the future. But soon, it became constant. Every conversation had a price tag. She compared me to her friends' boyfriends. "Did you hear Emma's boyfriend bought her a car? Sarah's fiancé proposed with a $15,000 ring." She said it like gossip, but it was a test. I could see it in her eyes. She was measuring me. Not my love, but my worth. I brushed it off, pretending not to notice. I didn't want to fight about money. Then her work trips started increasing. She used to travel twice a month. Now she was gone every week. Atlanta, Chicago, San Diego, different cities, same story. She'd come home with new clothes, new perfume, a different glow. When she talked about her trips, the details were vague. Just meetings and dinners, nothing exciting. But her phone was always in her hand. Always tilted away from me. She'd smile at texts and quickly lock the screen. Classic signs, but I ignored them. You don't want to believe the person you love could betray you. You tell yourself trust is stronger than suspicion. One Sunday night, she was packing for another trip. Her phone kept buzzing on the dresser. 5 times in 10 minutes. I said, "You want to get that?" She glanced at it and shook her head. "It's just work stuff. Seems like a lot of work for Sunday night." Her voice sharpened. I said, "It's work." Then she caught herself, softened her tone. "Sorry, I'm stressed. Big presentation tomorrow." I let it go, but the moment stuck. The defensiveness, the practiced apology, it felt rehearsed. After that, she grew distant. Less affection, more distraction. Sometimes she'd stay up late, doing emails. Sometimes she'd shower the moment she got home. The smell of unfamiliar cologne lingered once. I noticed but said nothing. I kept telling myself I was imagining it. Because when you love someone, denial is easier. 2 months later, her behavior shifted again. Now she was affectionate, almost too much. Overly sweet, overly attentive. It felt fake, like a performance. She'd ask questions about our future at random times. "Where do you see us in 5 years?" Do you think we'll get married? I gave her honest answers, steady, patient ones. But she wasn't satisfied. She wanted commitment now. She wanted something binding, something she could hold. And I started feeling the walls close in. It wasn't love anymore. It was strategy. Every smile, every touch felt calculated. I didn't realize it yet, but the trap was already set. And all it needed was one final trip to Atlanta to spring shut. 2 weeks after her Atlanta trip, everything exploded. I was at work when her text came through. We need to talk tonight. It's important. My stomach dropped instantly. Those words never mean anything good. I couldn't focus the rest of the day. I ran through every scenario in my head. Maybe she wanted to break up. Maybe something happened at work. Maybe I'd done something wrong without realizing. I went home early, waiting for her. The minutes crawled by. At 7:45, I heard her car in the garage. She walked in with puffy eyes and trembling hands. I asked if she was okay. She took a deep breath and said it. I'm pregnant. The room spun. My heart froze mid-beat. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline. But she wasn't joking. She looked terrified, but also determined. Like she'd practiced this speech. I managed to ask one word. How? She wiped her eyes and said softly, it just happened. 5 weeks. 5 weeks. Exactly when she was in Atlanta. My mind started connecting dots I didn't want to see. Madison, I said slowly, that's not possible. She blinked, pretending not to understand. Vasectomies aren't 100%. They can fail. Her tone was confident, rehearsed. I felt anger crawl up my spine. Mine didn't fail, I said. I've had 2 follow-up tests. 0 sperm count both times. Her face drained of color. She hadn't expected that. Most men probably don't check. But I did. Because I learned from my brother's mistake. She tried to recover. Well, maybe you're the exception. Her hands shook as she spoke. I could see panic behind her eyes. I stayed calm, too calm. Let's do a prenatal paternity test, I said. Her head snapped up. What? They can do it as early as 7 weeks. You're 5. 2 weeks from now we'll know for sure. She started crying harder. This is insane. You don't trust me. I didn't respond. Because trust wasn't the issue anymore. Reality was. Either the test proves I'm wrong, I said. Or it proves you're lying. Her silence said everything. I watched her crumble right there. Her voice cracked when she finally spoke. You're kicking me out. Yes. This is my condo, Madison. Your name isn't on the lease. You can stay somewhere else tonight. She begged, cried, shouted. I didn't move. I just stood there while she packed a bag. When the door slammed behind her, the sound echoed like a gunshot. I sat down, shaking. The adrenaline hit all at once. Part fury, part heartbreak, part disbelief. She had tried to trap me. With another man's child. And the only reason she failed was because I had chosen control years ago. I didn't sleep that night. Just stared at the ceiling, feeling the silence wrap around me like truth. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Madison sent message after message. Please, can we talk? You're overreacting. It's your baby, Ethan. I didn't respond. Instead, I started documenting everything. Screenshots of texts. Notes about dates, conversations, her trips. I wanted proof in case this turned ugly. And it already had. That night, I called my best friend, Derek. When I told him what happened, he laughed in disbelief. She really tried to baby trap you. Apparently, I said. She didn't know about the follow-up tests. Then she's not just manipulative, she's stupid, he replied. His words hit hard but true. We pieced together the timeline. The Atlanta trip. The sudden affection after she got back. The way she pushed for commitment and money. It all made sense now. She'd been planning this. She thought I'd accept it blindly. That I'd step up, play the good guy, take responsibility. She underestimated me. 2 days later, she texted again. "I'm staying with Ashley. We need to talk." I replied, "You can get your stuff this weekend. I won't be home." She begged, "You're throwing away what we had." "What we had was a lie," I wrote back. Then I blocked her number. Friday night, I left my condo keys with the building manager. I also installed a small security camera in the living room. If she came back, I wanted everything recorded. Saturday evening, the manager called. She picked up her things. She cried a lot. "Thanks," I said. When I got home, I checked the footage. She'd taken her boxes, clothes, toiletries, artwork, and my expensive blender and mixer. Things that were mine. I sent her a message from email this time. "Return my property by Monday, or I'll file a theft report." Her reply was instant. "You're heartless. You care more about a blender than me." I didn't answer. I just filed the report. Sunday, her friend Ashley called from a blocked number. "How could you do this to her? She's pregnant and you threw her out." I stayed calm. "Did she tell you about my vasectomy 3 years ago?" Silence. "Or the lab results confirming 0 sperm?" More silence. "Then she lied to you too." Ashley hung up. By Monday, the appliances appeared at my door. A note taped to the box read, "I'm sorry, please call me." I threw it away. Later that week, another number texted me. "I need to explain." I replied once. "There's nothing to explain. The baby isn't mine." She admitted it then. It was a mistake. It happened at the conference. A mistake doesn't last 5 weeks. A mistake doesn't come with lies. I told her to stop contacting me and blocked her again. That night, I filed a harassment report. The officer said, "You're not the first man to go through this." I wasn't angry anymore. Just tired. Tired of being manipulated. But beneath that exhaustion, I felt something stronger. Relief. Because the truth was finally out. And I was finally free. For 2 weeks, everything was quiet. No calls, no texts, no messages from unknown numbers. I started sleeping again. I went back to the gym, back to my routine. Work felt normal, peaceful even. The chaos was finally behind me. Then one morning, I got an email. It was from Madison. 6 long paragraphs of excuses and apologies. She wrote about a moment of weakness, about pressure from her family, about being scared to lose me. She said she'd been drinking at the conference, that the man didn't mean anything, that she thought maybe the baby could be mine. Maybe. The word stung. It wasn't guilt she felt. It was desperation. She ended the email with, "I still love you. Please, let's fix this." I read it twice, then forwarded it to Derek. His reply came 5 minutes later. "Delete it. She's rewriting the story." He was right. Madison wasn't apologizing. She was rewriting the past. Making herself the victim. Blaming stress, alcohol, timing, anything but herself. I didn't reply. Instead, I blocked her email and went on with my day. That weekend, Derek and his wife invited me to a barbecue. I almost said no, but changed my mind. It was time to be around real people again. People who didn't lie for a living. The smell of grilled meat and laughter felt strange at first. Like I'd forgotten what calm felt like. Then Derek waved someone over. "Ethan, this is Riley," he said. She smiled, warm and natural. No fake charm, no agenda in her eyes. She was a mechanical engineer, independent and sharp. We started talking, and the conversation flowed easily. We joked about work, about dadding, about bad timing. When I mentioned the vasectomy, She didn't flinch. Instead, she laughed softly. "I wish more men were that honest," she said. "It saves everyone a lot of pain." Her words stayed with me. They weren't romantic, they were real. For the first time in months, I felt seen. Not for what I could give, but for who I was. When she left that night, she gave me her number. "Let's grab coffee sometime," she said. "Coffee sounds perfect," I replied. That night, I slept deeply. No anxiety, no replaying old arguments. Just peace. The next morning, I found a letter in my mailbox. From Madison again. 6 pages, handwritten, emotional, desperate. She confessed everything. The affair. The fear. The plan to convince me the baby was mine. She said she was sorry. She said she would tell the real father, a man named Brad. She wished me happiness. I didn't finish the letter. I tore it in half and threw it away. Then I texted Riley. "Coffee this weekend?" Her reply came fast. "Absolutely, Saturday at 10. When I put my phone down, I smiled for the first time in months. Not out of revenge. Not out of relief. Just because life was mine again. And I intended to live it better than before. Weeks passed, and peace settled in. Madison disappeared from my life completely. I heard from friends that she confessed everything. Brad, the man from Atlanta, was married with kids. He blocked her the moment she told him the truth. Her friends stopped defending her. Some cut contact altogether. For the first time, she faced the consequences alone. Meanwhile, I kept moving forward. Work was steady, quiet, uncomplicated. Riley and I started seeing each other more often. Coffee turned into dinners, dinners into long walks. We didn't rush anything. No pressure, no lies, no hidden motives. Just 2 people who understood boundaries. Sometimes she'd say, "You really dodged a bullet." And I'd laugh because she was right. Madison's betrayal had burned everything false away. What was left was clarity. Freedom. Peace. I learned that revenge isn't screaming or proving someone wrong. It's waking up one day and realizing you don't care anymore. She wanted to trap me, but I walked away untouchable. And maybe that's karma's quiet reward. Living well. Loving honestly. And never letting anyone steal your peace again.